All right. So I was driven to just inspired to make a video about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I was complaining last night a lot about a bunch of different things, and it's funny as I'm complaining, and I'm constantly promoting to people when we complain we're not taking responsibility. Yet I allowed myself to sit there and complain. Anyway, it's funny as it's happening. I'm not even aware that it's occurring, and you'd think it would be so simple because everybody else observing me would be like, "Oh, Joe's just complaining." But when we're complaining ourselves, we don't even notice it in ourselves, but then we do notice other people. So anyhow, I was reminded of this concept, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and so what I was reminded of first before this was that when we complain, it means we're not taking responsibility for our thoughts, our words, our actions. It's almost like I was feeling like I didn't have any influence over things, as if I had no choice or anything like that. So, anyhow, I realized that maybe part of it was also that I'm just not, getting my needs met, and something's off. And I was realizing that, if we're in a survival mode, we're really unable to, or at least I'm unable to really take action to, I don't know, focus on things that I'm excited about. It's like, well, if I'm focusing so much on surviving the day, how am I going to possibly, put energy into thinking of the next project I'm going to work on or the next fun game I'm going to play? It really just takes fun out of the life. So when I'm in survival mode. So anyway, I was like, all right, let me look at my hierarchy of needs and see if any of these things, are lacking. And in some cases they really are, but then in other cases I was thinking too, where a lot of these things are opinions. So anyway, physiological obviously is breathing, food, water, sex, sleep, homeostasis, and excretion. And so let's do whatever it takes to make sure that we're having these needs met. So I think in order to even do that and take action to have these things be met, we have to make up our minds that we're deserving of all of these. We're deserving to have our needs met, that it's possible. So just making up our minds that I want this. I want a happy life. I want to feel great. I want to be at ease. I want those things. So, and then take action to make that right or be right about that or get that. So physiological, it's like whatever we need to do. Breathing, it's like every now and then, take it easy, take a breath. I was venting to somebody via text message yesterday, somebody I care about, and they were like, breathe. I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. Right, and all the different things. And I was just tired yesterday. I hadn't slept in a while, and my eating habit was off yesterday, and so I was like, all right, well, it kind of makes sense. I was trying to figure it out. I mean, and if you buy into this model, it just made sense why last night I was complaining and bitter, and it was like whatever, just hateful, hateful Joe. Not severe hate, but whatever. You get the idea. And then safety, security of body, of employment, of resources, of morality, of family, of health and property. So I think sometimes we sit back, we wait for others to bring us safety versus, being responsible and going and getting it taken care of. So after we have our physiological needs met, let's be responsible for our safety, whatever that looks like to us. I think a lot of this starts to get into more of a perception thing because, two people could be in the same scenario environment and one could feel threatened and one could feel safe. So there's different things at play. Don't get me wrong. If I'm in a jungle and a tiger's chasing me or somebody has a gun to my head, no matter how much I try to change my perception, I don't think I could conclude that my safety needs are being met. And then love and belonging, friendship, family, sexual intimacy. Yeah, it's like we live in a planet with 6 billion people, and this is the whole team human concept. And, there's been times where I feel lonely amongst millions of people. It's like I'm resisting having this need be met, and, how hard is it to make a friendship? It's not. You just go talk to somebody. Hey, what's going on? Because they desire, having their needs met just as much as you do. So, it's like two people feeling lonely can negate that, just by saying hi. And family, it's like, I was thinking about that too. Years ago, I detached myself from my family. I held grudges, and so I just needed to look at what outweigh the cost versus, the benefit, that whole analysis. And so it's like my desire to be right and pride, being full of pride and proudful, that's even a word, the cost of that was, lacking connection and belonging to the Giannelli family. So, I let go of a lot of the things that I had been complaining about with them. And what's neat is, in doing so, it fulfilled a great need. You can tell I'm avoiding the sex conversation. You can find a way to take care of that on your own. I'm not going to give you advice about that. Esteem, self-esteem, confidence, achievement, respect of others, respect by others. So yeah, be responsible for these things, but give ourselves permission to be respected. I think a lot of times we just don't allow ourselves to perceive it that way, or we put these, above these. So it's like my desire to look good or be respected and save face and pride. It's like that gets in the way of, being friends with people or connecting with family. So actually, in that moment, I just got present to the idea we have to go in order, hence the whole pyramid. You can't, if this level or layer here is not taken care of, then we can't possibly be focused on these things right here. So when it's respect of others, by others, it's like, make sure all these are met and make sure that's not at all costs, and you're balancing getting the self-esteem taken care of. But at the end of the day, it's self-esteem. It's our own opinion of ourselves, looking in the mirror and saying, you know what, I like me. It's it. Give ourselves permission to like ourselves, for crying out loud. And self-actualization, this is the realm that I like to play in as often as possible. But again, I got to keep going back and take care of these in order to be in this world here, in order to, meet my self-actualization needs, which is morality, creativity, spontaneity, problem solving, lack of prejudice, acceptance of facts. So my quest is to get all of these handled, financially, physically, establish my relationships, be cause in the matter of that, take care of my safety things so that I can play in this sandbox right here. This is a nice little playground right here. All right, so, impacting the world and coming up with new things and loving people. This is where, like, that me promoting Team Human comes about here, and, different systems and programs that I work on. So, and if I'm not playing in here, I feel like I'm not being me. I'm not being who I'm supposed to be, and there's almost like a lack of integrity, Who I am as a joyful person who loves humanity, who has a good time, who is at peace, who knows how to add levity to things, and who is creative and knowledgeable, and that's who I am. So anything other than that, if I behave in a ways different than that, it's like I'm not being true to my word, and there's a breakdown in my integrity. So that's where I'll be responsible and get these things handled. Anyway, wanted to bring this model back up again. We talk about it a lot, but it had been a while since I actually dove into it. And from now on, anytime I'm complaining about things, I'm just going to be like, all right, well, let me go ahead and take responsibility for how I'm feeling. Go back, take a look at if there's a breakdown in any of these areas, and then just do something about it, because, if I'm not willing to do something about it, then, I probably should give up the right to complain. And it's, to me, just choosing to be positive overall. Consider the alternative. Again, that's a quote from that trailer I play all the time from Without Limits, my favorite movie. And it's like, Steve, how can you always be, or are you always so positive? And he's like, consider the alternative. So, that's all. Enjoy your day, guys. Have fun. Meet your needs, and that's it. Be cause the matter. You guys are deserving of that. We all are. Enjoy.